Happy Super Bowl weekend, everybody. We are officially just about almost 24 hours away from the big game. I cannot wait to watch the Super Bowl. It should be a really exciting matchup. We got the Patriots, we got the Seahawks. Look, it's always exciting because it's the Super Bowl, right? Matchup wise, it does feel like the excitement level isn't as high as usual because of the quarterbacks. Let's just be honest about that. We don't have the top fancy, flashy quarterbacks playing. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or any of those guys. But you know what? I think for me, at least as a football fan, when it comes down to the X's and O's and the type of game that we might get, I am very excited about this one. But I do understand that I am a little bit in the minority. I mean, honestly, most people hated the Super Bowl when the Patriots beat the Rams and it was like 13-10 or 10-7, something like that. They won by a field goal and it was low scoring. I really enjoyed that game because every play felt like it could be the biggest play of the game, right? Because when it's a shootout and there's a big touchdown and the score is like 30-23 and it's the third quarter, yeah, it's a big play because it's a touchdown, but you're already anticipating there's going to be another touchdown coming up. When the game is low scoring, guess what? You might only have one touchdown in the whole game, and that might be the most crucial play of the game. So, look, I get it. People want the high-scoring game. They want, the fireworks to go off. But sometimes if you actually value the game and you watch football for the beauty of the sport, well, when it's low scoring, those plays and those scoring plays end up being much more meaningful at the end of the day. And that's actually, in my prediction, what I think would happen in this one. So, again, we've got the Seattle defense, which is the best in the league. The Patriots defense, which is top 10 and actually a pretty good unit themselves, those two units I think are going to hold the weight of essentially this matchup because it's ultimately which defense can, point out the flaws of the opposing team's quarterback and run game. And that's what it comes down to. So let's take a look at some of the numbers. Right now, the Seahawks are favored by 4.5, which I think is about right. Seattle, I think, is the better overall team in this matchup. The over-under is at 45.5. I think that's fair. I could see it being a 24-21 type of game, but honestly, I would not be lower than that. Point favorites, and it's up to 4.5 now. So that line is moving in Seattle's favor. As far as the numbers on their defenses, well, let's take a look, right? So we got Seattle. They're the first-ranked defense, okay? They give up 17.2 points per game, and that's the best in the league. That is number one. Their rush defense gives up 3.7 yards a carry. That is number one in the league. Their pass defense gives up 6 yards per attempt. That's number one in the league. So, again, this defense is up there. They are, they're basically dominant is the way I would describe it. So they dominated nearly every advanced metric. And this is obviously a DVOA statistic. And again, sacks, they're seventh with 47. So they do pressure the quarterback, but not top in the league. And takeaways, they have 25 this year. So that's sixth in the league. Now, when we take a look at Patriots, their rushing defense is fifth in the league. And their passing defense is ninth. So good defense, but not as good as Seattle's. They give up 18.8 points per game. And again, Seattle gives up 17.2. So, look, they are pretty evenly matched. Now, the Patriots defense has turned it up in the postseason, okay? In the playoffs, they've only allowed 8.6 points per game. Now, let's not get it twisted. They played 2 games where the weather was absolutely crappy. When they played Houston and Foxborough, that weather was terrible. And also, CJ Stroud just played very, very bad. And then the other game was the Denver Broncos game, which you all saw that second half. I mean, the Patriots offense couldn't do anything either. So when you look at it that way, I'm not going to buy too much into that 8.6 points per game into the playoffs and the 3 playoff games. I'm just going to look at it as a whole. And, they give up 18.8 points per game, not bad. And now they're going to go against a dynamic offense in Seattle. So, look, the way I see it, I'm just going to be super honest with y'all. I'm rooting for the Patriots because I love when people hate on good teams. It makes me root for the good teams. And I've just heard a lot of people say that we're tired of the Patriots winning so much with Brady and now they get to win again. And it's like, well, I tend to respect that because to me, I'm like, well, damn, they're doing something right. And really, we're all just jealous that our teams aren't like that. So I tend to actually, tip my cap to those teams and respect them and want them to win because I want my team to want to be like them. Like that's what I want. I want my team to be a winner, like the Patriots, like the Chiefs were, and then people started hating on the Chiefs. So I am rooting for the Patriots. However, I am picking the Seahawks. Defense wins championships. This Seattle defense, as we just went through it, they are number one in pretty much every category, okay, in the NFL. And so they have great players all across the board. I trust Sam Darnold. I'm not sitting here being like, well, let's see Sam Darnold. Will he show up for the big game? Like that narrative is dead. It's been dead. Again, as a Vikings fan, I've said this before. I didn't even buy into that narrative in the big games he played in Minnesota because I thought the coaching did not help him out whatsoever. And you know what? Sometimes they are going to be nerves and you might struggle a little. And that's when it's your coaching staff to help you out a little bit through those times. And I didn't think he got that help. It almost doubled down on the mistakes he was making. And I just think it got that snowball rolling and he struggled. But now in Seattle, that narrative I think is long gone. Sam Darnold, I believe, will have a good game. He's a great quarterback. He's a playmaker. I don't see him having I'm seeing ghost type of game. But I definitely don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think, yes, when there is nerves, maybe Darnold might be a little bit shaky. But guess what? Drake May is a second-year quarterback, and he might be a little bit shaky too. It's his first Super Bowl, the biggest game of his life. So, they may make mistakes. And guess what? If Darnold makes mistakes, it's not the same old Darnold. Maybe he's just not going to have a great game. But I think he'll be good. Okay? I think maybe he does have an interception. But maybe he has 2 touchdown passes. Maybe he makes crucial third down conversions when they're needed. And really, ultimately, it's all about trying to get the win, right? So, look, I think the defense for Seattle will be too much for that New England Patriots offense. The Patriots offensive line is not that great. Seattle doesn't have a great pass rush, but I think it will look like a great pass rush against the New England offensive line that's not very good. And that in itself will play right into Seattle's hands where Seattle wants you to throw the ball on them. And when they do that, they've got playmakers all over the secondary that can make plays. Their linebackers are good. So, and don't forget their special teams. Seattle's got a great special teams. So again, I just think Seattle is, the play here. They're the better team. They've been the better team all season long. And New England is ahead of schedule. Like no one thought they'd be in the Super Bowl. Vrabel won Coach of the Year, as he should have. And again, it's just one of these moments where I think for Drake May, for the Patriots, big time to already be in the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, if they can pull off the upset, that would be, wild. But at the same time, if they end up playing a close game and competing with Seattle, it's fine. You grow up upon this. And Drake May and all these young guys on that team, the rookies that they brought in this year, can learn from that and they can strengthen their team. So, look, I'm not trying to tell them it's okay to lose in the Super Bowl, but I'm just saying this matchup is not favorable to New England. And really, you just got to ask yourself, which team could I see getting blown out in this game? Is it Seattle? My answer is no. I don't see a world in which Seattle gets blown out. Like that defense is way too good to even allow enough points to get blown out. And I think the offense is good enough to where they're going to put up some points. And the special teams isn't going to mess this game up for them. And New England, could I see them getting blown out? And the answer is yes. Because, again, I could see the Seattle defense, creating turnovers, causing havoc for Drake May. And if they get ahead, and if, Darnold starts off with a good drive and puts them up 7-0, and Seattle gets a stop, and then even if Seattle just gets a field goal, their special teams puts them in good field position, and now they're up, and now New England has to throw the ball. Drake May, well, that could, turn very quickly on them. So based on that, again, defense wins championships, and I know that these two defenses are pretty close. They're not like very, very far apart in how, good they are, but Seattle's got the edge, and I just think that they have um, you know, a better overall team. And that's what I'm riding with. So my prediction is that the Seattle Seahawks will be your Super Bowl 60 NFL champions. I hope I'm wrong because I'm rooting for the Patriots, but got to be smart, got to be unbiased, and got to put that aside and look at the numbers, look at the facts. And the facts are Seattle should be favored. 4.5 seems like a high line, but honestly, I like it. I would take the points. I think Seattle wins by, 6 points. It could be a 23-17 type of game. But ultimately, I think it might even be more than that because, like I said, I think it could become an avalanche in Seattle's favor if they're able to get off to a good start. And, unless New England gets some bounces their way or their defense shows up, which I'm hoping for. What I'm hoping for is that Vrabel, being the coach of the year, coaches them up and finds a way to keep Sam Darnold under control, stop the running game for Seattle, get a lead, and then force the Seahawks to have to pass the ball because when they become one-dimensional, well, that's when Sam Darnold, in my opinion, isn't Patrick Mahomes. He's not, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen. I think he's a tier below that. And I think, at that point, he's more probable to make mistakes. But I definitely don't think he's the same Sam Darnold that people think will wake up and come back from like the Jets or Panthers days where he's going to see ghosts. But I do think you can force him into some mistakes if the Seahawks have to become one-dimensional, which I hope the Patriots can do, but I doubt the Patriots can do. Go Patriots, but bet on the Seahawks. All right, y'all. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll recap it afterwards. I can't wait to talk about it. And yeah, I'm just excited that we get another Super Bowl, another time to enjoy the game and be sad that the season's over, but don't be sad that it's over. As they say, be happy that it happened. We had a great, great NFL season. And I look at this as a celebration of the year. And let's see who ends up being on top.